Okay, so we have, I loosened up these bolts here, and I got this bolt loose and I got this bolt loose. So continuing here, I'm just gonna pull them off. This should release the pins for the caliper. Once those two are off, this should wiggle off, and if you notice, the actual brake pad is here, the shoe. So it should just come right off. And I haven't taken these off in, I don't know, maybe like 8-9 years. This just came right off. And you can actually see the brake shoes, one brake shoe here and another one here. There's two of them. So all I got to do is pull those out. The brake pad itself is it's worn down, needs to be replaced. Pull this one off. This one's pretty low too. Simple as that. This deal here, we have to pretty much just turn it. You can use a large screwdriver like this one, and all you got to do is back it in. Anyhow, that's how you remove those. We're gonna have to remove these clips, brush them down with a wire brush, and clean this out with some braking cleaner. And I can actually sit this right on top here, so that way it's not hanging down. Check these slider pins, make sure they're coming in and out fairly easy. If they're not, I can always pull them off and put a little bit of grease on them. This one's not really, it's a little harder, so I'm gonna pull that one off. And to remove this actual bracket here, there's two other bolts right back here. There's a bolt here and a bolt way up on top in this area. So anyways, I'm gonna pull that off. Okay, so we're removing these bolts here, these two bolts that are holding this bracket in, so I can get it cleaned up. I got them loosened up already, so I can actually take them off with my fingers. And that's pretty much all that's to it. You remove this bracket here. All you got to do is clean it out here and here in this area. I'm going to spray it out in good shape, so it's just moving back and forth. They should move fairly easy in and out. I'm having a little bit of trouble doing that. This one a little bit more, so I'm going to pull that one out. Okay, so I got this pretty cleaned up with the wire brush. You notice all the brake dust and all that's removed. Looks pretty clean. Now what I'm going to do is remove these slider pins and use some of this brake lubricant. It actually tells you there that it's for the actual caliper slides and the contact points for the brakes. So you can pull these off, put some of that in there, and they should move freely in there, in and out, pretty easy. The way you take these off, you can just pull them out like that. And then you notice it looks more like dust. Just clean it up like so. And this here, you just gotta pull off. There's like a little lip. Gotta just pull it off and around. And then this will just slide right off. See, you can see it's all dirty in there. It's already dry. So once that's done, you want to put this little gasket back on first. Make sure, inspect it, make sure there's no cracks or rips. Just gonna put this back on here. Should be fairly easy, just like so. And be doing one side first. Put some of this ointment. You don't want to put too much because I don't want it oozing out. So just enough that it's a small thin layer. And then you want to slide it back in there. Should slide pretty easy. And it's pretty easy now. All you got to do is smash it in all the way, and that's it. And if you notice now, it's moves in and out freely, whereas this one doesn't. So this is where you want to be. I'm going to do the same thing, repetition here, and I'm going to pause. Okay, so we got the bracket for the caliper pretty cleaned up. The both slider pins, real smooth, pretty easy. So that's kind of what you want to have once you clean them up, get them taken care of. Everything's pretty cleaned. Those have been serviced. So we want to go ahead and put this bracket back on. I've already backed out this. So anyhow, it's backed up already, ready to go. So I'm just going to set this back in, bolt it down, put my brakes in, and as I said, the way it came out is the way it goes back in. Everything pretty well. Tightens in with your hand. Tighten this up with your hand, and once again, this is a 14 millimeter for the bolts for the bracket, and you want to go to, I believe it's 80 pounds of torque. I'll torque it down in a bit. You always want to keep in mind that when you back up this, right now that I'm looking at it, when you back up that screw on the brakes, you always want to check your fluid level, make sure it's not going to overflow. So now putting this bracket's already set in place. It's torqued down. Now you're going to put the brake pads, the brake shoes on. You want to put some of the lubricant on the points, the bottom and on the top. So this will go in like this. Same thing with the other pad. Put it on the actual bottom. So if I can get some squeezing out here. Bottom on the top, or you can just directly put it on there. Slide in the brake pad like so, and that's it. Those are there, set in place. Once you got those in place, your caliper is ready to slip on. And all you got to do is match these holes and put them back on. It's easy as that. Okay, so got this caliper back on finally. Made sure I torqued it to the specifications. All you got to do is also remember you got to put this bracket, this cover back on. It goes right there, and that secondary bolt. And once you get that taken care of, you are done with your brakes. I would just spray some of the brake cleaner just to make sure all the stuff comes off. You can do that during the process, before, after, whenever you feel you need to do it, so that way everything's nice and clean. And other than that, that's it. Oh, and you're gonna have to pump the brakes a couple of times to make sure that the actual piston goes back in and tightens up the brakes. I would also bleed the brakes. So that's this here. You just open this up and unscrew it. Put a little pipe there and get that the brakes bled, just so that you can have new brakes with new brake fluid as well. And other than that, that's it. Thanks for watching.